Yo, it's Jared. I'm on chess.com and I'm going to show you an exciting game that I played last night in an over-the-board tournament, which was the Woden Cup 2013. Okay, and it was round 7, and I was playing the white pieces, and my opponent was Angelo Feliu. And here we go, let's get right into it. So I played e4, and Angelo played e5. Knight f3, knight to f6. I played bishop b5, which is the Ruy Lopez. a6, which is mainline, bishop a4, knight f6. Castles, bishop e7, rook to e1, b5, all of this is mainline theory, bishop to b3, castles. So, when my opponent castled, I was expecting that after I played my move c3, that he would push his pawn to d5 and we would enter into the martial attack. Instead, he decided to play knight a5. And during the game I didn't notice that I could actually just take his pawn on e5 here. Rather, I played bishop to c2, and we transposed into the mainline Ruy Lopez opening with d6, h3, and pawn to c5. All of this is mainline theory still. Pawn to d4, queen to c7, and now I played knight b to d2. Now this position is fairly common. Black has an issue with his knight on a5, and he oftentimes needs to find something to do with that knight, some way to get it back into the game, either by knight c4 to b6, or possibly even knight b7. In the game he played a slightly weird move. He played knight to c6. And this move was actually played in a game with Nunn, who was playing the white side, versus Nigel Short, playing the black side. And in that game, Nunn played pawn to d5, which is what I played. The knight went back to d8, and I played knight to f1, with the idea of either playing knight to g3 or bringing my knight into e3 at some point. h6, so his king can play to h7 if need be. And I played this move a4, and this once again is a move that was played in the Nunn game. In the Nunn game though, rather than playing h6, Nigel Short played knight to e8 with the idea of playing g6 and f5, and then placing his knight on g7 and his other knight on f7. And in that game, Nunn played a4, Nigel played rook b8. We had the pawns coming off on the a file, and play continued from there. But we don't have that here. Black played h6, and I played a4. And black played a move which I didn't expect, bishop to d7. I checked this with an engine after the game, and it says that white here is significantly better after taking the pawn, takes, which is the lines which happened in the game. I took on b5, bishop takes b5, And the engine says knight to g3, and white is significantly better. White's about a pawn's worth up in this position after the move knight to g3. But after bishop takes b5, I play a very odd move. I would say it's actually a bad move. I played bishop to d3. My plan was that he would have to take this bishop, because if he moves the bishop back, then I just take this pawn. And once he takes my bishop, I would take back, and I would have two pieces focusing on the a6 pawn. Then he would need to play a move like queen to b7 to guard it, or a5. And in both of those cases, I'll play my knight into e3 and then into c4, and I would have a very nice position. But I simply overlooked black's next move, which is a very, very simple move, c4, which is what black played. And I was a bit shocked to see this move because I completely missed it. So I played my bishop back to c2, and he played knight to b7. So here I'm thinking, okay, I've probably just blown my game, and the game is more or less even here. So black wants to play his knight into c5. This is quite obvious, so I play bishop to e3, and black plays knight c5. I take this knight, and he recaptures with the queen. I play my knight in to the center, and he plays g6. The idea of this move is to keep my knight out of f5. I wasn't really sure what to do here, so I played queen to d2, which turned out to be a reasonably good move because it eyes this h6 pawn, which is unprotected. So queen to d2, he played king to g7 to guard this pawn. And now I play I guess it's a slightly controversial move. If you would like to pause here, try and think of what white can play here to stir things up for black. Okay, I played the move knight to h4. And this move sets a tactical trap. It looks like black can just take this pawn, and after I retake with the bishop, he can take my knight on h4, and black will be up a pawn, and I will most likely be losing. But I had foreseen this move. In the game, we do see knight takes e4. Now if you would like to pause the video here, try and find out what move I came up with after knight takes e4. Okay, I played the really, really powerful move knight e to f5 check. So his king's in check. I'm also attacking the bishop on e7. It turns out that the best move here is to play king to f6. And then the engine says to play rook takes e4. And white is up a piece. In the game, black took this knight, which is a very, very bad move. And I had foreseen, after playing knight to h4, that I could then play knight takes f5 check. Now let's look at a couple variations here. Once again the king is in check, If the king goes to g6, then we have queen takes h6 check. The only move is king takes knight, and then bishop takes e4 is mate. Okay, I should just point out that I'm not actually putting these moves onto the board because I'm not able to go back in this way on chess.com. It's sort of a weird thing. It's kind of hard to explain, but this is a good little exercise if you would like to just see in your mind's eye these moves as I talk about them. So if king g6, queen takes h6 check, king takes f5 is the only move, then bishop takes e4 check is mate. Okay, let's look at king to f6. Queen takes h6 check again, king takes f5 is the only move, and bishop takes e4 is mate. Let's look at king to g8. I had planned to simply play knight takes bishop check, and then once he moves the king I can recapture on e4 and I'm up a piece. And if king to h8 or king to h7, I play queen takes h6 check, king to g8, and then queen to g7 checkmate. In the game, black played king to f6. And I played queen takes h6 check, king takes f5 is forced, and then bishop takes e4 is checkmate. The king can't go here, 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 can't stay here, can't go here because of the pawn on h3, can't go here because of the queen, so this is checkmate. So I hope you enjoyed this game. This was a really cool game, and I'm really happy that I found this line with knight e to f5 check over the board. I was just really pleased with it. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Alrighty, take care.